Today you're going to learn about adding integers, so adding negative numbers. So first we're going to do the review exercises. The directions say evaluate each expression. First I want you to try this on your own and then you can check your answers. Number 1, the absolute value of negative 100. Well, the distance between negative 100 and 0 is going to be a positive 100. So your answer is 100. Number 2, the absolute value of 3. Well, what's the distance that 3 is from 0? Well, it's 3 units. So your answer is 3. Number 3, you have a negative absolute value of negative 4. Well, the absolute value of negative 4, which means the distance negative 4 is from 0, is 4 units. But then you also have a negative out front, so your answer is going to be a negative 4. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is what happens when you add together two numbers that are either both positive or they're both negative. So if we look, I wrote if you are adding two numbers with the same sign, so if they're both positive or they're both negative, add the two numbers and take the sign they both have. So if I'm looking at number 1, both those numbers, I'm adding 3 plus 5. Well, they're both positive, so I'm just going to add 3 plus 5, which is 8. And then since they're both positive, my answer is going to be positive. Now let's look at 2. I have a negative 2 plus a negative 3. So both of those numbers are negative, negative 2 and negative 3, so I'm going to add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5, and since they're both negative, my answer is going to be negative. Okay, now let's look at what happens if you're adding two numbers, but one's positive and one's negative. What you're going to do is you're going to subtract the two numbers, and then whichever number is bigger, you're going to take the sign of that number. So, for example, number 3, we have negative 3 plus 7. So I'm just going to subtract the two numbers, 7 minus 3, which is 4. And then which number is bigger, 7 or 3? Well, the 7 is, and since the 7's positive, my answer is going to be positive. Number 4, 2 plus a negative 5. So I'm adding two numbers together. One's positive, one's negative. So I'm going to subtract the 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Which number is bigger, 2 or 5? Well, 5 is bigger, and since that number is negative, my answer is going to be negative.